original Nissan Qashqai has become a sales phenomenon for the car maker in the same way the iPhone is for Apple. As the first mass-market family crossover, it sparked a generation of imitators, from the Renault Kadjar and Volkswagen Tiguan, to the Kia Sportage and Ford Kuga. It's easy to see why buyers are hooked. This new vehicle type blends the low running costs of family hatchbacks with more rugged SUV looks and added practicality. The Qashqai car has quickly become a commercial success in the process. More than 2 million have rolled off the production line since launch in 2007. Where a decade ago this pioneering family car had the market to itself, today there are more than 20 rival crossovers clamoring for your attention. It's a fiercely competitive class, with the Nissan Qashqai remaining a popular choice. Not sure if the Qashqai is right for you? Try the new car chooser to create your shortlist. It was designed and developed in the UK, and is produced in the hundreds of thousands at Nissan's factory in Washington in the northeast of England. You'll truly be buying British if you choose a Qashqai. Better quality. Outside and in, the latest Nissan Qashqai has attempted to address the quality gap between its classiest rivals. The 2017 facelift added smarter materials to the roomy cabin, as well as extra sound deadening and thicker windows to make sure the car cruises quietly, with less road and wind noise. It largely works. We found the vehicle to be noticeably quieter than earlier iterations, although the most powerful 1.6 diesel can make a minor racket when worked hard. The petrol engines are much improved in this respect. The cabin is well suited to the rigors of family life, with plenty of room front and rear. High-spec cars get the full-length panoramic glass roof, which provides a bright and airy interior. Just watch out as it also nibbles into rear headroom. Browse Nissan Qashqai's for sale. Nissan Qashqai Practicality. Interior storage space is taken care of by a large central storage box between the front seats, while there are numerous cubbies and compartments to store keys, wallets and mobile phones. To make room for this, the Qashqai uses an electronic parking brake switch rather than a conventional handbrake lever. One slight niggle is that over-the-shoulder visibility is still restricted by the large rear pillars, making checking the Qashqai's blind spot tricky at times. Most models get a single or 360° surround vision parking camera to make up for it. Luggage volume stands at 430 liters, somewhat smaller than many rivals, and the boot floor has a clever trick up its sleeve. It's made up of 2 panels, which can be repositioned to create either a deep boot or a totally flat load area when the rear seats are folded down. There's also space under the boot floor to stow the parcel shelf when not in use. This time around there's no 7-seater Nissan Qashqai Plus 2 version. That model was replaced by the closely related Nissan X-Trail. 2 petrol and 2 diesel engines. There are 4 engines available in the Nissan Qashqai range, a pair of petrols and a diesel duo, all turbocharged. The 2 diesels, 1.5 and 1.6 liters respectively, are likely to make up the majority of sales in the UK. The 1.6-litre diesel is available with the choice of 2 or all-wheel drive, AWD, and also has the option of a CVT automatic gearbox. The 4-wheel drive version is manual only, though. Most relevant for those looking to minimize running costs is the 1.5-litre diesel, with CO2 emissions rated at 99 grams/km, even on the biggest 19-inch alloy wheels, and a claimed fuel efficiency of 74.3 miles per gallon. Fuel economy and CO2 emissions are attractive across the range as a whole, with even the largest petrol engine averaging a claimed 48.7 miles per gallon with CO2 emissions of 134 grams/km. These should be cheap cars to run for the average family. The new Qashqai performs well on a road test. It's very easy to drive with safe, assured handling and admirable ride comfort, which remains pliant even when specified with large alloy wheels. Rims of between 16 and 19 inches are available. Numerous Qashqai accessories are available to tailor your car. See our feature section of our review here. The verdict: the latest Nissan Qashqai remains one of the default choices in the burgeoning family crossover sector for good reason. It may not be outstanding in any one area, but cleverly achieves high scores in virtually every discipline, making it a tricky benchmark to overlook, especially at such democratic prices. The latest Nissan Qashqai remains one of the default choices in the burgeoning family crossover sector for good reason. It may not be outstanding in any one area, but cleverly achieves high scores in virtually every discipline, making it a tricky benchmark to overlook, especially at such democratic prices. Read the full Nissan Qashqai review for more detailed driving impressions. Economical range of engines, performance not a high priority. Manual, automatic and 4x4 available. Propulsion for the Nissan Qashqai is provided by a range of 4 engines, 2 diesels and a pair of petrols provide the power. All are turbocharged and fitted with the start-stop system that automatically cuts the engine in certain situations when the car is stationary to save fuel and reduce emissions. It restarts automatically, quickly and easily when you're ready to set off again. Duo of diesels. Most Qashqais are powered by the Renault-sourced 1.5-litre DC diesel engine, producing 110 horsepower, but it's quieter, smoother and more economical than it was in its predecessor. It's also been tweaked for an extra 20 Nm, now 260 Nm, of torque or pulling power, to help in gear acceleration. Nissan quotes figures of 113 miles per hour and a 0 to 62 miles per hour time of 11.9 seconds, so expect performance to be no more than adequate for a vehicle of this size. Nevertheless, it's quiet during normal driving, only becoming noisy when extended, and no worse than most other diesels. Its extra torque over the entry-level petrol makes it easier to drive in many respects. Top diesel is the 1.6-litre DC unit with 130 horsepower, carried over from the previous Qashqai. It's available with either 2- or 4-wheel drive. It offers flexible acceleration and is quiet enough compared with the competition, although engine roar can creep into the cabin. This is more noticeable since the 2017 facelift focused on reducing wind and road noise. Stick with the 6-speed manual gearbox and front-wheel drive for a top speed of 118 miles per hour. 320 Nm of torque from 1,750 revolutions per minute sees a 0 to 62 miles per hour time of 9.9 seconds. Opt for the Xtronic automatic gearbox and these figures dip to 114 miles per hour and 11.1 seconds, while the 4-wheel drive Qashqai with manual transmission stakes claims of 118 miles per hour and 10.5 seconds. Pair of petrol engines. The range kicks off with the 1.2-litre DIG-T. Direct injection gasoline turbocharged, in case you were wondering, engine with 115 horsepower and 190 Nm of torque. While 1.2 litres might sound a little on the small side to power what is a fairly large car, Nissan claims it has zestier performance than the old 1.6-litre petrol engine fitted to the previous Qashqai, as well as being more economical. A top speed of 115 miles per hour is claimed for the manual version, with a 0 to 62 miles per hour time of 10.6 seconds. Opt for the Xtronic automatic, available from the end of 2014, and they become 108 miles per hour and 12.9 seconds, respectively. On the road it's very quiet and smooth, although a little lacking in performance at low revs. Overtaking can be quite hard work, and to get the most from the Nissan Qashqai 1.2 DIG-T you need to keep the revs up. At lower speeds around town it feels very much at home, however, and for urban driving is arguably the pick of the range. Headline Nissan Qashqai performance figures belong to the 1.6-litre DIG-T engine, which was released at the end of 2014. Performance is hardly blistering, even with 240 Nm of torque on tap from 2,000 revolutions per minute, but it will achieve a top speed of 124 miles per hour and a 0 to 62 miles per hour time of 8.9 seconds. It is an impressively refined, quiet engine and the most relaxing power source available. Transmission choices. All models come as standard with a 6-speed manual gearbox with a longish but pleasant action, although Nissan's new Xtronic CVT, continuously variable transmission, has engineered artificial gears or steps to avoid the elasticated feeling common to this type of gearbox. Without them they have a tendency to make the engine rev at a much higher rate than the road speed suggests is necessary, but these faux gears are something of a success, the transmission feeling similar to a regular automatic gearbox on the road. Safe, predictable handling. Unlikely to sate enthusiastic drivers. Raft of onboard electronic stability aids. Conventional car-like handling was one of the key attributes of the original Nissan Qashqai, and the second-generation model continues the theme. Although there's plenty of body roll when cornering, it's well controlled and the car feels safe and stable at all times. It's certainly not exciting to drive, but as sure-footed family transport it's hard to criticize. Nissan Qashqai 2017 facelift. Nissan made detailed changes to spring and damper rates as part of the 2017 facelift, as well as beefing up the steering to provide more positive feedback. It's designed to make steering feel more natural and works, to a point. It's not the sharpest handler in the sector, but it's not far off. There's plenty of electronic witchcraft going on behind the scenes to keep the Qashqai on the straight and narrow, with different levels of braking force applied to each individual wheel while cornering or traveling over undulating surfaces to keep the Nissan's body as flat and stable as possible. As well as making the car more nimble, the company claims this also improves comfort for passengers. All-wheel drive versions get a more sophisticated suspension setup with a multi-link layout at the rear. Ride quality for all versions regardless of drivetrain is very good, with both large bumps and smaller imperfections absorbed smoothly. This same multi-link arrangement was fitted to all DIG T163 versions from the start of 2016. The Qashqai is equally at home around town, where its raised driving position makes it a cinch to position on the road. It's easy to park, especially when equipped with parking cameras. Higher grades get 360° panoramic cameras which provide a snapshot from all sides. Handy for avoiding damage to your alloy wheels when parking near a curb. qaʃqaːiː, front-wheel drive or AWD? Top-spec Qashqais can be ordered with all-wheel drive, AWD, and come with 4-driven wheels. They operate as front-wheel drive in most conditions, but will send power rearwards if the front axle is struggling for grip. You won't cross the Sahara in it, but it'll prove perfect for keeping you going in snowy weather, when towing or crossing a slippery field. Traction in a Nissan Qashqai is consequently very good. Even the punchier engines won't strain the wheels and you are unlikely to encounter wheel spin, even when pulling out of a damp T-junction in a hurry. Build quality good but plastics not quite premium. Glazed roof makes the cabin seem airy and more storage space than its predecessor. This is an area in which the second-generation Nissan Qashqai is a great improvement over its predecessor. The original was beginning to feel dated with its plain design and large expanses of cheap plastics. While materials and appearance have been very much improved, they're still behind the levels found in the likes of the VW Tiggan, but fit and finish is now pretty good. The 2017 facelift added further soft-to-touch plastics, a new steering wheel with better ergonomics and a redesigned infotainment operating system, designed to feel more like using a smartphone with tiles of apps to navigate through. Some may find the Qashqai feels a little more claustrophobic than its predecessor thanks to its thicker pillars and more shallow windows, but this is remedied by the huge glass roof fitted to top trims. An electric blind is fitted as standard, allowing you to block bright sunshine on a bright day. The raised driving position, one of the car's key selling points, remains, and it's easy to get comfortable with plenty of adjustment to seat and wheel positions. High-spec models now come with electrically adjustable lumbar support too, a feature more commonly found on more premium cars. A 5-inch screen between the rev counter and speedometer displays an array of useful information and is easy to scroll between different menus and functions without it becoming a distraction. An electronic handbrake button has been adopted to allow more space for storage between the front seats. Roomy cabin ideal for family life, quieter than previous generation. Rearward visibility not great. Nissan Qashqai comfort remains impressive. A family of 4 or 5 will be very at home here. There is plenty of space front and rear, although rear headroom is pinched by the fitment of the panoramic glass roof. Kids will be fine, but taller adults may notice their heads brushing the headlining in the back seats. The Qashqai comes only as a 5-seater nowadays. The MK1's Qashqai Plus 2 version with 3 rows of seats has been discontinued. Access to all 5 seats is easy enough and the middle seatbelt in the back row is now built into the backrest, rather than hauling down from the ceiling, like in its predecessor. The front seats feel comfortable and supportive over long journeys. The 2017 Qashqai added more comfortable chairs with new foam padding, better upper body support and 4-way adjustable lumbar support on high-spec models. Top-trim Techno Plus models also get new latticework effect Napa leather, which feels very luxurious to sit in. Seat heating is available on some trims, too. Road and engine noise have been reduced compared with the previous generation. The 1.5-litre diesel engine is a little less vocal than before and at motorway speeds both diesel and petrol units are whisper quiet. Ride quality over imperfect surfaces is good too, so occupants are unlikely to be jostled around, even when the bigger 18 and 19-inch alloy wheels are fitted. The fitment of extra sound-deadening material, and thicker glass in the rear windows, has added to the comfort on offer. 2017 Qashqais are among the most refined cars in this crossover market. Like the previous model, rear visibility isn't fantastic though. The tiny third side windows in the large rear pillars don't really offer a clear view for over-the-shoulder blind spot checking, so you'll be relying heavily on the 360-degree view camera system. 5 trim levels from Vizia to Tecna Plus all feature aircon, DAB radio and Bluetooth, lots of variation. Most go for N connector. Currently the Nissan Qashqai lineup comprises of 5 standard trim levels which follow the firm's established naming conventions of Vizia, Accenta, N connector, Tecna and, from summer 2017 onwards, Tecna Plus at the top of the range. Standard Nissan Qashqai SUV equipment entry-level Vizia derivatives are all fitted with remote control central locking, 4 one-touch electric windows and LED daytime running lights. No alloy wheels on this grade though, instead you get 16-inch steel ones complete with plastic wheel trims. From the 2017 facelift, DAB digital radio was added to every Qashqai. Look out also for a new Bose Hi-Fi on top grades, below. Hill Start Assist makes getaways in inclines easier and works in conjunction with the electronic parking brake to hold the car for up to 3 minutes on an incline, while cruise control helps make lighter work of longer schleps. You can connect your phone or music player via Bluetooth, a no-in socket or USB, playing out of 4 speakers for the DAB audio system. Note that Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are not available for the Nissan Qashqai yet. Other creature comforts are limited, but you do get manual aircon to keep the cabin cool in summer and electric door mirrors that are heated to defrost in winter. Moving up to the Accenta grade, add 17-inch alloy wheels, dual-zone climate control and front fog lamps. Extra interior kit includes a leather finish for the new flat-bottomed steering wheel, electric door mirrors that fold flat at the touch of a button and 2-tone seat upholstery. On connector versions gain an upgraded infotainment system called Nissan Connect with 7-inch touchscreen, above. This includes DAB digital radio and smartphone connectivity, with a range of apps for social networking, music and entertainment, and from summer 2017 comes with the new shark fin antenna on the roof and 18-inch alloy wheels. Also on the kit list are parking sensors front and rear, keyless entry and push-button start, a rear view camera, which usefully is self-cleaning, and darkened rear privacy glass. Until 2017, the next level up was called the Qashqai Envision, but this was discontinued in 2017. It added a sportier rear with a dark headlining, leather and Alcantara upholstery, a panoramic glass roof to make the cabin less claustrophobic and an electrically adjustable driver's seat. The penultimate Qashqai trim is called Tecna and features 19-inch alloy wheels, roof rails and a glass roof, plus an 8-speaker Bose stereo and LED headlamps. On the inside there are heated seats with part leather upholstery and electric operation, plus a 7-inch touchscreen display with smartphone connectivity and Nissan's around view camera system to help with parking and low-speed maneuvering. This uses cameras on all sides of the car to create a color display bird's eye view of its surroundings. Front and rear parking sensors are standard too. The Tecna can also go one step further and park itself. The park assist system can autonomously steer into parallel and bay parking spaces while the driver controls the pedals. Topping the range is the new Tecna Plus trim, above, launching as part of the 2017 facelift. It includes a host of gadgetry, including 4-way pneumatic lumbar support, a feature more commonly found on executive cars, and a memory function for seats and mirrors so they adjust to your key's individual settings when you step into the car. It also bundles in the latest 8-speaker Bose stereo, glitzy latticework finish for the Nappa leather seats front and rear, and externally you get satin silver door mirror caps and roof rails. You can upgrade the leather to rich plum color as an optional extra. Optional Nissan Qashqai SUV accessories. Individual options for the Qashqai are quite restricted, limiting the choice to a range of metallic paints, alloy wheel upgrades, styling kits and the panoramic glass roof. Additionally, there's a variety of option bundles, but they're not all available with every trim level, so check with your Nissan retailer to see which combinations are possible. Comfort pack, an area cabin thanks to the panoramic glass roof with one-touch electric shade, satin silver roof rails. Heat pack, an electrically heated windscreen and heated front seats make wintry mornings easier to live with. Smart vision pack, includes traffic sign recognition, automatic main beam, lane departure warning, autonomous emergency braking, front and rear parking sensors and an anti-dazzle rear view mirror. Tech pack combines the Nissan Connect 7-inch touchscreen with sat-nav, Bluetooth connectivity, smartphone apps and a reversing camera. Plus privacy glass executive pack Builds upon the heat pack with dark leather trim and an electrically adjustable driver's seat. Rated 5 stars by Euro NCAP. Raft of up-to-date safety kit. Many items are optional in the Euro NCAP test. The Nissan Qashqai scored the full 5 stars, with particularly high scores for adult and child protection, as well as a strong score for pedestrian safety. Various active safety technology systems are available under Nissan's Safety Shield banner. Depending on trim, some are standard and some are extras at extra cost. See the equipment section for details. Systems available include blind spot warning. This has been upgraded to use radar sensors to detect vehicles hidden in the Qashqai's blind spot. It illuminates a light in the corresponding windscreen pillar to warn the driver. Intelligent driver alertness. Displays a warning on the instrument panel should steering inputs become erratic in a way that suggests the driver is drowsy. Front collision avoidance and forward emergency braking. Scans the road ahead via radar and issues an audible warning if it detects an imminent collision, before applying the brakes automatically in an emergency. Can now spot pedestrians to high beam assist. Automatically switches the headlamps from full beam to avoid dazzling other traffic. Lane departure warning. Alerts the driver if they drift out of lane without indicating. This is actually very irritating in practice. It's hair trigger sensitive and emits a harsh beeping noise if you touch a white line. Moving object detection. Should a moving object come within their range when maneuvering, the around view cameras trigger an audible warning and highlight the rough location of the object on the display screen. Traffic sign recognition. Front-facing camera reads speed limit signs and displays them on the instrument panel. Function works abroad in Europe. 2. Rear cross traffic alert. New in 2017's facelift is this system, which will alert you if you're about to reverse into a road with a car approaching from the side. Coming in autumn 2017 is ProPilot, Nissan's new semi-autonomous system. It will use radar and cameras to take over driving duties in particular circumstances, such as in a traffic jam or at a motorway cruise. Spacious, flexible interior. All models have a 60 hours 40 minutes split rear seat. Plenty of storage for oddments. Nissan Qashqai Practicality credentials have been boosted for the second generation model with greater interior space and luggage capacity. The tailgate opens higher than before, with special provisions so that you don't bash your head on the tailgate, a fundamental problem on the Mk1 Qashqai, and boot volume is now 430 litres with the seats up, 20 litres more than previously. On all trims the rear seats fold in a 60 hours 40 minutes split and fold almost completely flat. The boot floor is made up of 2 panels which can be positioned at 2 heights, either lower to increase boot space or higher to make for a flatter floor when the rear seats are folded. In their highest position there isn't much of a lip between the boot space and tailgate, making it reasonably easy to slide heavy items out of the boot. Both floor panels have a carpet surface on one side and a wiped clean surface on the other, helpful when carrying wet or muddy items. The rearward panel can also be stood upright to divide the boot into 2 sections, to separate drier and wet items for example, or just to help stop your shopping rolling around. Helpfully, the parcel shelf can be stored under the boot floor when required. A tire repair kit in lieu of a spare wheel is standard. A proper spare wheel is available at extra cost. It's worth noting that this option is not available if you spec the rich-sounding Bose stereo, as the woofers are positioned in the spare wheel well. Plastic hooks to hang shopping bags on are molded into the boot sides, while inside the cabin there is more interior storage space than before, with a large central storage box between the front seats. This features an OIN socket, USB port and 12V socket for charging electrics, with a space under the lid to run a cable through so devices can still be plugged in when not stowed in the box itself. Nissan Qashqai Practicality credentials have been boosted for the second generation model with greater interior space and luggage capacity. The tailgate opens higher than before, with special provisions so that you don't bash your head on the tailgate, a fundamental problem on the Mk1 Qashqai, and boot volume is now 430 litres with the seats up, 20 litres more than previously. On all trims the rear seats fold in a 60 hours 40 minutes split and fold almost completely flat. The boot floor is made up of 2 panels which can be positioned at 2 heights, either lower to increase boot space or higher to make for a flatter floor when the rear seats are folded. In their highest position there isn't much of a lip between the boot space and tailgate, making it reasonably easy to slide heavy items out of the boot. Both floor panels have a carpet surface on one side and a wiped clean surface on the other, helpful when carrying wet or muddy items. The rearward panel can also be stood upright to divide the boot into 2 sections, to separate drier and wet items for example, or just to help stop your shopping rolling around. Helpfully, The parcel shelf can be stored under the boot floor when required. A tire repair kit in lieu of a spare wheel is standard. A proper spare wheel is available at extra cost. It's worth noting that this option is not available if you spec the rich-sounding Bose stereo, as the woofers are positioned in the spare wheel well. Plastic hooks to hang shopping bags on are molded into the boot sides, while inside the cabin there is more interior storage space than before, with a large central storage box between the front seats. This features an ON socket, USB port and 12V socket for charging electrics, with a space under the lid to run a cable through so devices can still be plugged in when not stowed in the box itself.